Greetings, my scattered sisters and brothers in the Lord. Trust you know the Lord is with you wherever you find yourself scattered today, and that you know that his presence with you is more than enough for whatever you might face today. Well, we are with Jesus, and he's just come down from the mountain with Peter, James, and John, and you'll recall that he saw an argument going on, and that a man had brought his son to Jesus' disciples to have Jesus' disciples cast out an unclean spirit. And the disciples tried, they weren't able to. An argument ensued. The scribes were there challenging the disciples, and Jesus wanted to know what was going on. And the Father explained to him what he had done and how the disciples were unable to do it. And Jesus' response was, "Oh, unbelieving generation, how long shall I put up with you? Bring the boy to me." And so that's where we're picking it up. They just bring the boy to Jesus. It's in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 9, and we pick it up at verse 20. So Mark 9:20. So they brought him. When the spirit saw Jesus, it immediately threw the boy into a convulsion. He fell to the ground and rolled around, foaming at the mouth. Jesus asked the boy's father, "How long has he been like this?" "From childhood," he answered. "It has often thrown him into fire or water to kill him. But if you can do anything, take pity on us and help us." "If you can," said Jesus, "everything is possible for one who believes." Immediately the boy's father exclaimed, "I do believe. Help me overcome my unbelief." When Jesus saw that a crowd was running to the scene, he rebuked the unclean spirit. "You deaf and mute spirit," he said, "I command you, come out of him and never enter him again." The spirit shrieked, convulsed him violently, and came out. The boy looked so much like a corpse that many said, "He's dead." But Jesus took him by the hand and lifted him to his feet, and he stood up. Now, we're going to spend a couple more sessions on this, so there's a lot to cover here. But the thing I want to touch on today is Jesus' question. How long has he been like this? They bring the boy to Jesus, and the spirit throws the boy into convulsions. He no longer really looks like a boy. He looks more like an animal. He's foaming at the mouth. His body is rigid, and Jesus can see that he's in pain. And instead of just healing him, instead of just casting out this unclean spirit, Jesus asked a question: how long has he been like this? If I'm the dad, I'm thinking, Jesus, forget the questions. Let's just get it done. But Jesus asked the question, how long has he been like this? And the boy's dad said, from childhood. And then talked about how whenever the unclean spirit has seized the boy, it has tried to destroy him, tried to kill him, tried to get him to drown or to throw himself into fire, just this very destructive spirit. And again, how long has he been like this? From childhood. I wonder why Jesus asked that question. I wonder if we're supposed to learn something from that question. How long has he been like this? From childhood. How long have we been the way we are? From childhood in many cases. And I just think about the miracles of Jesus, the healings of Jesus. The woman who had the issue of blood, the flow of blood, she had been that way for 12 years and spent all she had on doctors, and they couldn't cure her. If we move over to the Gospel of John, we have the man who was lame for, I think it was 38 years, and Jesus healed him. And I think the point is that no matter how long we've been this way, no matter how long you've been this way, no matter how long the person you're praying for has been that way, whether it's from childhood early on, or whether it is from last night, Jesus has the power to heal, to cure. It's also kind of interesting to think about how the boy wasn't born that way. It's not that he's been this way from birth. He's been this way from childhood, that something happened that left him in this condition. And we can think about our lives that way as well, and lives of people that we know and love and care for, that something happened somewhere along the way, and it just seemed to leave them wounded, ill, crippled, possessed, self-destructive from that moment on. And how long have they been this way? How long have we been this way? from childhood. Didn't start out this way, but been this way for a long time, or from last night. Doesn't matter. What matters? Jesus, the power to cure. Jesus is our healer. And so wherever you find yourself scattered today, and no matter how that question might hit you, how long has it been this way? How long has that person you care for been this way? Didn't always used to be this way, but from childhood they have been. Continue to pray for them. Continue to pray for yourself. Continue to place faith and hope in Jesus, that Jesus is our healer. Jesus is the one who makes us human again. The boy looked more beastly than human, and yet Jesus cleansed him. Jesus healed him. Jesus cast out that unclean spirit, that defiling spirit. And the boy looked dead, but Jesus took him by the hand and raised him up, and he was fully human again. God bless. Have a great day, and live in that news that Jesus is our healer, no matter what the ailment, even from childhood. God bless.